Hey, yo, 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 yo. It's Radius coming at you with a video about parallel lines and transversals and parallel lines being cut by a transversal. So let's get it. Now, we're going to focus a lot on vocabulary today because this is a very vocabulary dense topic. But I think we'll be fine. So here are the three main ones that we're going to focus on today. We're going to add a couple more as we go, but these are the three big ones. So alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, and corresponding angles. Now, one thing that we need to understand is what we're talking about here when I mention parallel lines being cut by a transversal. So what we are talking about is the fact that I have a set of parallel lines. So if I look at this line A and this line B right here, okay, A and B, these are parallel lines. Okay, the transversal is T. A transversal is just when you have any set of parallel lines. So here's parallel lines. The transversal is that's cutting across those two parallel lines. Okay, so let's make sure we label this. Let's draw this picture. Even though I know you have a few in your foldable, I want you to draw a couple of these anyways off to the side, and I want you to draw this and label your transversal and label, there's your transversal, and label your parallel lines, okay? Because why that matters is if you know which lines are parallel and you know which one's the transversal, it makes it easier to understand the interior and the exterior, okay? So if you need to pause and copy this image down, pause and copy this image down, then we can talk about exterior, interior. So, as you notice in our initial talk here, in our initial discussion about the vocabulary terms, we mentioned interior, exterior, alternate interior, alternate exterior. Okay, well, the alternate has to do with the transversal, and then the interior has to do with the parallel lines. Okay, so that's why this image is important, because if we're talking about interior, anything interior, we're talking about interior inside the parallel lines, in between the two parallel lines. Okay, so that is why this is considered interior right here. I'm going to highlight this yellow. This whole section is considered the interior because it's in between the two parallel lines. Okay, while outside the parallel lines, that would be considered the exterior. Okay, so that's important to know because we're going to talk about what we know. All these, when we have parallel lines being cut up by a transversal like this, is these angles have special properties that makes it really, really, really easy to figure out what they are. Okay, like really, really easy. So if I were to look at angle 1 right here and angle 8, these are both exterior and they're on opposite sides of the transversal. That means alternate. So because one's on the left side of the transversal, one's on the right side of the transversal, they're on alternate sides of the transversal, and they are exterior angles. So angle 1 and angle 8 are alternate exterior angles. Okay, and here's the cool part about that, is alternate exterior angles are always equal to each other. Okay, so that means angle 1 is congruent to angle 8. This symbol right here, it's an equal sign with that little squiggle above it. Okay, that is the congruent symbol, which means that angle 1 and angle 8, they are equal to each other. They are the same angle. Okay, and that is going to be all the time. So whenever we have alternate exterior angles, they're always going to be congruent to each other. So what I mean by that is if I know the measure of angle 1, so if angle 1 is, let's say this is a 35-degree angle, then that means because angle 8 is an alternate exterior angle, it is also a 35-degree angle, and that'll happen every single time. That works every single time, by definition. Okay. Now, if we go to alternate interior angles, okay, so that was another one we had, was alternate interior angles. So alternate interior angles, let's look at the interior and alternate. So alternate again means different sides of the transversal. So let's look at angle 4 and angle 5. Those are alternate opposite sides of the transversal, but they're both inside the parallel lines. So in between the parallel lines. So angle 4 and angle 5 are alternate interior. And as you may have guessed by looking at them, those are also always congruent. So angle 4 and angle 5 are also always congruent. So if this is a 35-degree angle, this is also a 35-degree angle. Okay. Now, so alternate exterior angles are equal to each other. Alternate interior angles are also equal to each other. So important things to know. Okay. Now, finally, I want to look at corresponding angles. I'm running out of space here, but that's okay. I'm going to erase this part because I know you guys have that down. Corresponding angles, okay, are when we have the angle is on the same side of the parallel line and the same side of the transversal. So if I look at angle 3 and angle 7 right here. So angle 3 and angle 7. Those ones are corresponding angles. Okay, they are corresponding angles. And again, corresponding means they are on the same side of the transversal, and they're also on the same side of the different parallel lines. So this is in the bottom left corner, this is in the bottom left corner. Okay, if I look at just my individual parallel line, and I look at my individual transversal, this one transversal, this parallel line, I have these 4 angles. This angle 3 is in the bottom left corner, meaning it's on the bottom of the parallel, left side of the transversal. Angle 7 is on the bottom of the parallel line, left side of the transversal. So angle 7 and angle 3 are corresponding angles. And corresponding angles are congruent to each other. Okay, so that's supposed to be more of a squiggle. So angle 3 is equal to or congruent to angle 7. They are the same exact angle. So if angle 3 is, well, because this is 35 degrees, this angle, we already know that this angle, well, we may not know, we may not remember, but that's okay. These are supplementary angles, which means that both of these angles, if I were to look at this here, don't I have a straight line if I just got rid of the top? Isn't this one straight line cut by this one angle right here? If I'm looking at just this piece. You see that? That's a straight line. Straight line is 180 degrees. So if this is 35, that means this also has to be whatever 35 plus whatever is 180. So this angle is 80 minus 35, which is 145 degrees. Which means that angle 7 also has to be 145 degrees. Okay? So now this is what you guys have here. We have our alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, corresponding angles. So one thing that we can definitely make notes of is that how they're all equal to each other. And let's draw pairs of alternate interior angles. And if you guys can color coordinate with a highlighter, that'd be great, or with a pen. I mean, whatever you need to do to help you see this. But it'd be really beneficial to see that alternate interior angles would be 3 and 6. Okay, they would also be 5 and 4. Would also be alternate interior. Okay, alternate exterior. We have 1 and 8. Those are exterior angles. But we also have 2 and 7. And then finally, our corresponding angles. We have a lot of corresponding to the top left. 1 and 5 are corresponding. Okay. If I go 2 and 6, those are also corresponding. If I look at, let's see, 7 is on the bottom left, so that means it's corresponding with 3. And then finally, if I look at 4, it's in the bottom right, which means it's corresponding with 8, which is also in the bottom right. Okay, and so these combinations are always congruent to each other. Okay, so this would be your practice right here. One other note that you might want to write down somewhere is supplementary. If we need that definition, that's important. Okay, that's when we have a straight line, and then we know that means they add up to 180. So it's a lot of vocabulary, and this just goes through that vocabulary. But basically, if I know what one angle measurement is, I can figure out what all of them are. If I were just to know that this is 35 degrees, now I can find its corresponding angle and I can find its alternate exterior angle to figure out that these are also all 35 degrees. Okay? Oh, there's the bell. That's okay though. All right. So go through this practice. Actually try to answer these questions just based on what we just talked about. And then you can come back and check to see how you did. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger for you guys so that I can write down. Okay. There we go. And then I can move stuff around later. So here we go. Which lines are parallel? M and N are parallel. Okay. Which line is a transversal? L. Name all the angles congruent to angle 1. So let's see. Angle 1, we have our alternate exterior. I also have my corresponding angles. So I know angle 3, angle 8, okay? And then these are alternate interior angles, which are also equal to each other. And then angle 6, those are all going to be equal to angle 1. So then all angles congruent to angle 2 are going to have to be, let's see, 2 is congruent to 7. And then we know that because they're alternate interior angles. 2 and 4 are corresponding. I mean, they're corresponding. They're both in the top right of their little X right here, right? So, and then 4 and 5 are alternate exterior. 3 pairs of supplementary angles. There's a ton of possibilities here, but basically any 2 angles that are right next to each other. So 1 and 2, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. Okay, 3 and 7, 4 and 8, 2 and 6, 1 and 5. Any 2 angles that are right next to each other because they all make straight lines. What relationship exists among angle 1 and angle 8? 1 and 8, alternate exterior. I'm just going to abbreviate for right now. Angle 5 and angle 7, those are corresponding. Angle 2 and angle 7, alternate interior. And then if I have angle 1 is 72 degrees, what is the measure of angle 5? So if measure of angle 1 is 72 degrees, the measure of angle 5, well, I know that these 2 make supplementary angles. And so because these are supplementary angles, they add up to 180. Because again, here's my straight line right here. There's a straight line and it's being divided into 2 different angles. A 72 degree angle, so that means the second angle right here has to be 180 minus 72. Which is 108 degrees. Measuring angle 2 is 105. What is angle 7? So angle 2 is 105. So what is angle 7? These are congruent to each other because these are alternate interior angles, so this is also 105. Okay, I'm going to have to clear this and scroll up a little bit here. Oh, there we go. All right, let's finish this up. Angle 4 is 102. So here's 102. So what is the measure of angle 5? Oh, alternate exterior, these are equal. And so therefore, this is also 102. Angle 8 is 76. So if this angle was 76. So notice we're obviously changing these every single time, and that's okay, just because we want to go through each scenario. If measure of angle 8 was 76 degrees, what is the measure of angle 6? Well, these are corresponding angles right here. 8 and 6 are both in the bottom right corner. 76. And then if measure of angle 6 is 74, what is angle 4? So this is one, these do not have a direct relationship to each other. So if I'm looking at just 6 and 4, these are not alternate interior. They're not alternate exterior. We don't have any relationship to them. Okay? But we can use other relationships that we know. I know that measure of angle 6 is 74, which means that measure of angle 8 is also 74 because these are corresponding. Well, if angle 8 is 74, now I can figure out angle 4 because these are both supplementary. So 180 minus 74 is 106. And so the measure of angle 4 is 106 degrees. All right, that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Hope this video helped. And if you have any questions, let me know. Critias out.